It's been a while since I sat down and reviewed an episode of Food Wars. A bunch of Chibits asked me last week, like, where was Food Wars at? Like, I got messaged constantly, like, everybody's asking where Food Wars was because nobody actually realized it was a recap episode. And I didn't either, actually. I didn't even realize it was a recap episode until Friday came around, and then I was waiting for the episode, and I'm like, where the fuck is that episode? And no Food Wars. So, I was as lost as all of you Chibits until I noticed it wasn't on Crunchyroll. Like, when I went to go check it every week, on Friday, it wasn't on there. I'm like, okay, I guess it's just not coming out. And Crunchyroll didn't say they had any delays, so I'm like, I guess we're getting a recap. And that's what we got last week. So yeah, if you're still wondering why there was no episode of Food Wars last week, it's because recap episode. And that usually happens in between seasons. Like when it goes from, like, let's say summer season to fall season, we should expect, dual core series to probably go on a 1 week break with a recap or something. Usually series do that. I'm surprised Orde Monogatari didn't do that, but you get the point I'm getting at. So, let's talk about Food Wars. Now, we get a new opening, a new ending song, which are very kick-ass. I'm a big fan of that new opening song. Like, it looks really battle-orientated from the way the opening song looks. And I wonder if that's actually foreshadowing what we should expect from the future. I mean, I know openings, I guess reveal the future events. I'm talking about the way the opening sequence was. It looked like Soma's going to be in, like, battles and shit. Like, shonen-type battles with food. And I wonder if that's what it's hinting at, or was that just there to just have a fancy opening song? So, if you guys can clarify for me, please do that, because I was just wondering about the way the opening song was done with the battle sequence. But, anyways, opening song, very good, like the animation in it, and I like the art, so it looks really good. It didn't look like it spoiled much, so that's pretty good to say the least. Now, this episode, we get a little bit of characterization for Soma's father. We come to find out more about him and that he was classified as the demon, and he was the second seat. So he was a very big chef in the past, which we all theorized, I think by now, us anime-onlys theorized by now he was some form of big chef. I mean, he was overseas, he was cooking in these different restaurants. I mean, there's been multiple hints throughout the anime that his father was someone very, very big. And then to see how we saw the picture of how Elena wanted, to see Soma's father, with how she has a picture of him, you could see that he's a very renowned chef. And there's been multiple build-up to this, like, throughout the episode since the first half of, Food Wars, but we finally get the information we've all been craving, like, the cold-cut information. We didn't get everything, but we got information regardless. From what we saw was that he, at one point in time, was in this exact same dormitory as Soma. He worked in the exact same place, he slept in the exact same place, same exact room, everything. Like, Soma is literally walking down his father's footsteps. That's exactly what Soma is doing, and I wonder how Soma feels about that. Because I've seen a lot of characters in different anime, manga, literature, or anything, where certain characters, if let's say they're a son, daughter, whatever, when they're born from a prestigious person, like, let's say your father, or any of your parents, or someone you look up to, or someone you're born from, was a famous artist, or let's say a famous writer or something, okay? Just because they're a famous writer doesn't mean you should walk down their exact footsteps and do the exact same thing they did. And so I wonder if Soma is going to be having any conflicting issues about finding out that he is literally walking down his father's footsteps, and he's just like a carbon copy of his father. Now, I'm not saying he is a carbon copy. I'm just saying that's what Soma might think. And so I wonder if that's going to be any form of character development or a point of character development for Soma's character in the future of the series. But I just wanted to point that out because there was a lot of similarities, because, I mean, the room situation to what Soma's trying to accomplish, to the food, to the way they cook, it's very similar. And I wonder if that will serve to be character development in the future. Now, one thing, though, we got hints at is supposedly something has happened in the past. Something has happened in the past with Soma's father. He kind of just got off the front lines. Like, for instance, he was a famous chef, he was cooking, he was amazing, everybody recommended his cooking, he was cooking for high-class people, and then all of a sudden he just fell off the radar, and then he worked at, the little diner that we know of from the beginning of Food Wars. And so what exactly happened? Why did someone as prestigious as Soma's father just fall off and not be a frontliner anymore for cooking? I have many theories, what I think, but I think there's one obvious theory, and it was love. I think that's what really made Soma's father get off the front lines, because he probably found someone he loved, he married them or whatever. Like, we never really knew what happened to Soma's mother, did we? Has that ever been revealed? Has that ever been revealed? I'll have to go back and check first episode. Like, I don't think that's ever been revealed. Has Soma's mother? No. No. I might be having a derp here. I might be having a fucking derp, but just, I'll push past it, okay? Because I'm probably having a derp. But still, I mean, it was probably because Soma's father found love, he had a child, and then he wanted to be a father figure and just raise his child. And time his child got to a certain age where he could participate in the school he was in, then he was able to go back to the front lines. I think that's exactly what was going on. So I think that's why he kind of fell off the radar and why he just became a legend. That is my theory for that. But the main things I want to point out, supposedly his cooking has changed over time. And when you have a family, you can change. Like, when you get a family, people change, especially. Like, if you have a child or something. And I'm willing to bet, since we found out that his cooking was very unfair to others. Like, for instance, it was very violent, or it was like, he was called the demon chef, supposedly, like the demon. So his cooking probably was very spicy and unwelcoming for people that are not used to his cooking. I could see how he probably toned down his cooking for his son and his family. He cooked for his family because they probably couldn't eat the food he had, and so he had to tone down his cooking, and that probably progressed him as a chef and probably turned him into what he is today. So I think that's also what happened there and why he's cooking the way he cooks now in a gentle manner. But at the end of the episode, we get to see a different atmosphere about Soma's father. He puts on this face and, like, demon mode activates, and Soma and his father is about to go up against each other and see who is the better chef, and also to see how much Soma has grown or not grown. So the episode building up into a very, very, very good start of this second half. I was going to say first half. So, anyways, yeah, Soma building up into a very good second half already with Soma's father. So, tell me your thoughts. How do y'all feel about this week's episode of Food Wars? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.